For thousands of years, China has risen, fallen, and risen again, each time more powerful than before. But what if I told you that the biggest secret of China's past has remained hidden until now? The story you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about the Middle Kingdom. It all began with a river, the Yellow River, known as the cradle of Chinese civilization. Here, the first Chinese dynasties emerged, ruling over vast lands with wisdom and war. The Xia dynasty, often dismissed as mere legend, was said to have wielded immense power, taming the floods and laying the foundation for everything to come. But was the Xia real? Archaeologists have uncovered evidence that suggests its existence, yet the truth remains shrouded in mystery. What if an even older civilization existed before it, one lost to time? The Yellow River, or Huanghe, became a symbol of life and death for early Chinese people. While it nurtured the land, it also brought devastating floods, making its unpredictable nature both a blessing and a curse. Early civilizations formed around this river, flourishing as agriculture took hold and early cities grew. The Qin Dynasty, which many believe to be a mythical precursor to later dynasties, remains a subject of fierce debate. Archaeologists have found remnants that could point to the existence of the Qin, but much of the evidence remains inconclusive. Could the Xia dynasty, said to have ruled over China's early kingdoms, truly have existed? If so, what was their connection to the ancient myths of the river's power? Some believe the Xia were the first to harness the river's potential, turning it into a force for agriculture and eventually empire building. But if they were real, who ruled before them? Was there a civilization even older, lost to time? Fast forward to the Qing Dynasty, where oracle bones foretold the future and kings ruled with divine right. The Qing left behind the first written records of China, etched into turtle shells and ox bones. These inscriptions hint at something chilling. Whispers of a forgotten war, a conflict so great it could have wiped out an entire people. Who were the mysterious enemies of the Qing, and why did history erase them? The Qing Dynasty, which flourished between 1600 BCE and 1046 BCE, was the first to leave behind written records, offering insights into their complex society. The oracle bones, used by Qing kings to communicate with spirits, contain some of the earliest examples of Chinese writing. They reveal a society deeply intertwined with religion, where kings sought divine approval for their decisions, particularly in matters of war and governance. However, these bones also allude to something darker, a great conflict, perhaps with enemies now forgotten by history. Who were the Qing's adversaries? Did they face a powerful force that was wiped out, leaving no trace in the annals of history? The true nature of the Qing's enemies remains unclear, as the records are fragmented and many of the bones remain cryptic. The downfall of the Qing dynasty is believed to have come at the hands of the Zhou, but the reasons remain murky. Did the Zhou conquer the Qing through superior military tactics, or was there a more insidious cause? The truth remains elusive, hidden within the dust of history, waiting to be uncovered. Then came the Zhou dynasty, and with it the mandate of heaven. The idea that rulers were chosen by the gods but could be overthrown if they failed. This belief justified countless uprisings, rebellions, and wars. The Zhou kings expanded their realm, but as their power grew, so did their enemies. The empire fractured, leading to the Warring States period, where 7 powerful kingdoms battled for supremacy. This was the era that birthed Sun Tzu's Art of War, a book so influential that its teachings are still studied by military leaders today. But did Sun Tzu actually exist, or was he a legend crafted to inspire future generations? The Zhou dynasty, which ruled from 1046 BCE to 256 BCE, is best known for introducing the mandate of heaven, a divine right to rule granted by the gods. The concept stated that the emperor's rule was valid only as long as they were just and effective. If a ruler failed, it was believed that the gods would withdraw their favor, allowing a rebellion to rise up and overthrow the dynasty. As the Zhou dynasty grew in power, so did its challenges. The empire fractured, leading to the Warring States period, where 7 powerful states fought for supremacy. This period of intense warfare and political intrigue gave birth to many great minds, including the legendary Sun Tzu, whose art of war became a cornerstone of military strategy. Sun Tzu's teachings, emphasizing deception, adaptability, and the importance of understanding both yourself and your enemy, became a blueprint for military success not only in ancient China but across the world. But who was Sun Tzu? Did he exist, or is he simply a figure created to personify the ideals of warfare and strategy? The truth of his identity remains clouded in mystery. The answer may lie in the rise of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. He unified the warring states through conquest, standardizing laws, currency, and even the written language, but his most ambitious project was the Great Wall, a colossal defense against the northern nomads. Yet, Qin Shi Huang feared something more than invaders, death itself. He sought immortality, sending expeditions in search of the legendary elixir of life. Instead, he may have unknowingly poisoned himself with mercury-laced potion. His tomb, guarded by the famous terracotta army, remains largely untouched. What secrets lie beneath that ancient mound? Qin Shi Huang's reign was marked by his relentless drive to unify China. Through military conquest and political maneuvering, he brought together the fractured states of China, laying the foundation for the Qin Dynasty. He standardized currency, measurements, and even the written language, creating a more cohesive empire. His most famous project, the Great Wall of China, was constructed to protect the empire from the nomadic tribes to the north. Despite his achievements, Qin Shi Huang was consumed by a fear of death. Obsessed with finding immortality, he sent expeditions to find the fabled elixir of life. Unfortunately, his quest led him to ingest mercury-laced potions, which may have contributed to his premature death at the age of 49. His tomb, discovered in 1974, is guarded by the Terracotta Army, a vast array of life-size statues meant to protect him in the afterlife. The tomb remains largely unexplored, holding countless secrets about the man who sought to conquer both life and death. With Qin's death, chaos erupted. The Han Dynasty rose, ushering in an age of prosperity, trade, and technological marvels. Paper, the compass, and early forms of seismographs were invented. The Silk Road connected China to the Roman Empire, trading silk for gold and ideas for influence. But this golden age was not without shadows. Deep within the imperial court, eunuchs and bureaucrats vied for power, plotting behind closed doors. Could the downfall of the Han have been orchestrated from within? As dynasties rose and fell, China saw the rise of the Tang and Song dynasties, an age of poetry, science, and artistic brilliance. Gunpowder, movable type printing, and the magnetic compass revolutionized warfare and exploration, but just when China seemed unstoppable, a new force emerged from the steppes: the Mongols. Genghis Khan's warriors stormed through China, toppling dynasties and reshaping the world. But how did Kublai Khan, his grandson, manage to rule China and establish the Yuan dynasty? And what happened to the fabled lost fleet of the Mongols, said to have been destroyed by a divine wind? The Ming Dynasty restored Chinese rule, building the Forbidden City and launching massive naval expeditions under Admiral Zheng He. His fleet dwarfed those of European explorers, reaching Africa and possibly even the Americas. But then, in a shocking turn, China burned its own ships, closed its borders, and erased records of its greatest voyages. Why did China, a superpower of the seas, suddenly turn inward? Then came the Qing Dynasty, the last imperial rule. The Opium Wars, foreign invasions, and internal rebellions weakened China. The Taiping Rebellion alone led to over 20 million deaths, a war deadlier than World War I. The dynasty crumbled, and in 1912, China became a republic. Yet, just as the nation tried to rebuild, it was thrust into new conflicts. World War II, Civil War, and the rise of communism under Mao Zedong. His policies, like the Great Leap Forward, led to famine, while the Cultural Revolution tore society apart. But from the ashes of turmoil, China once again rose, transforming into an economic giant. Now, in the 21st century, China stands as a global superpower. But history teaches us that no empire lasts forever. Will China continue its ascent, or is another fall on the horizon? One thing is certain: the cycle of rise, fall, and rise again is not over. And the final twist in this story? You won't believe what's coming next.